See if it works. Oh crap, I know what I forgot.
You break it already?
I didn't break it. Not necessarily.
You broke it. You broke it. Oh my gosh, what's up everybody? Welcome to Magickal Coffee Hour. Today, I guess I'm still the Linda, and that handsome devil over there is the one, the only, Drake, the Working Dragon Mystic. What's up, Drake?
Hey, I'm doing good.
And
had a busy week.
Special guest appearance today from the child, also known as Baby Yoda, or as I've renamed my special one, Baby Yo-Yo. How's it going, everybody?
Halloween's here.
Hey, Halloween.
And she actually fixed her name.
Insanity. Huh?
She actually fixed her name so it says Halloween now. So I won't be calling her
she did
Hollywood
last
or
week.
some random crap. Oh, I thought she did it Friday. I lose track of
She did
time.
it like last week.
No.
It was in the middle of our clusterfuck of a stream.
Yeah, and then she slept through the stream Friday. That's why I was messed up. Okay.
See, look.
So you're right.
Alright, guys. So, since nobody wanted to make a wild guess other than Halloween as to what today's topic is, and the one teeny tiny little clue I gave you guys was Baby Yoda. What up, Cats? And Demon Wolf, aloha. She said she was asleep on Friday.
She was.
Anybody want to take a really wild guess now that we're here? What today's topic is? Dylan, aloha, welcome.
Got a lot of people up in here.
William got it. We're going to talk about the Force today, guys. So, one thing that I've... I'm going to quit looking at you like that, you weirdo. One thing that I am a huge fan of, and my husband's a huge fan of, we got married by Darth Vader. We love Star Wars. Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. One of the things that I've been thinking about a lot, and that was, what the hell is the Force? And then the one, the only, Drake, brought up a couple weeks ago, hey, how about we, do the Force sometime? Talk about Jedis and shit. And I was like, that's amazing, because I've been thinking about it.
Which, when you consider the pop culture side, it's, how have we not gotten here sooner?
Well, I try my best to hide some of my nerdiness. Try. Well, Demon Wolf, welcome, friend. I am currently stationed here. I'm one of those dirty mainlanders that's here because of the military. So, but I still like it. I still like it for the most part. There's a lot of days that I really, 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 really
I think that's the first time we've heard her say she likes it.
I like it to an extent.
But she's usually stressed out, to be fair.
Yeah, that's quite true. And it's usually because of traffic, or high gas prices, or the fact that my car doesn't like to work, or stay working. I can go on forever. I'm not going to get into that.
No.
Anywho, yeah, so when Drake brought up, let's talk about Jedis, let's talk about the Force, I got really hyped. And then when he forgot about it, it made it even
They were
better.
making fun of me.
They were making a guessing game out of
It's
it.
like, yeah, I don't know. That's the worst part of it, the fact that I didn't remember last week. It was technically my idea, and I still didn't remember. I told y'all I had a rough week.
It was, okay, so what was even better about it that made me laugh was the 2 weeks ago now, so before last week's episode, and when he brought it up to me that we should do this, he's like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, fuck yeah. But we already have a plan for this coming Sunday. Let's do it the Sunday afterwards. He's like, yeah, that's perfect. Let's do that. So, what was it? Last Sunday, after we got off stream, and we're sitting there, we're kind of raging at each other about the technical difficulties we were having all afternoon, all evening, all this afternoon for me, evening for you guys. He was, what are we going to do next week? And I was like, bro, what do you mean, what are we going to do next week? I already told you what we're doing next week. It's light, it's dark, and there's some gray thrown in there. What does that mean? Okay. Now I got fucked. And then he went back and looked at our text messages and he realized what I was talking about. He's like, oh, I'm dumb. I'm like, yeah, you are. But I love you. So yeah.
Frostfire, I actually worked with an individual who is addicted. He will actually work for tacos. And me and him spent 8 hours discussing the concept of taco magic and how to actually make it function.
Wouldn't that be the same as...
It says... Uh-oh.
This is not...
Are you there?
I am here. Are you there?
I'm here. I've been here the whole time.
I'm back.
I can't see you technically.
What happened?
And totally checked everything on my end. Everything is working.
I think my potato internet. You can probably Demon Wolf. He's from Hawaii. I'm assuming you're a he. I'm sorry if you're not a he, but Demon Wolf's from Hawaii, so they can vouch for me that potato internet is real out here. Okay, so my question was, would taco magic be considered kitchen magic that focuses on the use of tacos? That was the last thing I heard any of us say, and then it went flap.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was pretty much it. We figured out something happened, so we finished with the, we did that whole taco magic and nachos, and then we just waited for you to get back.
Oh, well, I'm back.
Yeah, so let's get to this topic before your potatoes run out.
Okay, well, the Menehune are beating on some potatoes to make this work. So let's get down to it. First of all, what the hell is the Force? Based off of any Star Wars book interview that you've seen with George Lucas and all that stuff, the Force is something that is not really of this world because it is taken from many, many different religions, and it itself is a religion, but it is most related to Buddhism and the use of Qi, Chi, or whatever you want to call it.
Space magic. The Schwartz.
So first off, I would like to talk about Qi/Ki. What the hell is it?
Okay.
Is it magic? Is it energy? Is it something entirely different?
Technically speaking, in most traditional terms, it is something a little bit different. Because in Star Wars, you do hear the Force referred to as an all that moves in and out of everything. He and these philosophies do have that ideal of an energy field. But they also distinguish Ki and Chi on a personal level so that it's a personal life force energy generated by a living thing. So depending on your philosophy and definition, it wouldn't work on a rock. Because the generator of this actually is a living being with consciousness. Now, in some spiritualities, obviously, rocks do have spirits. So that's why I said it depends on where you're at in that philosophy line. So, yeah, Lucas did mix a lot of stuff in there. But Ki and Chi are based upon energy that's built up within the person that you can tap into, harness, and direct. I think the most people in modern society really run into it is in martial arts. Though I'll admit most American martial arts, they don't even talk about it anymore. American martial arts has become a competitive sport only.
Yeah, I know when I was doing Hapkido, we did focus up on your Ki energy. I also learned how to speak in Korean just a little bit, and that was fun. I found out that I can't speak Korean, so that was great. Crossfire is a giant Star Wars nerd, and so does Cast Iron Chaos seems to be one as well. They're both having a little conversation about
Nice. Yes. See.
about the Star Wars universe, and Demon Wolf who said yes.
So
I'm not sure what the yes was.
I think there's a
but yes.
lot of Star Wars nerds out in the occult. I really do, because yeah, it's a big brand with a lot of concepts that a lot of people can get behind.
And I mean, look at this. When you have creatures like this running around and being cute.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
I
had a
so I
moment.
will say this though: there are a lot of varying, volatile opinions these days due to the new trilogy. So, chat, no flame wars here.
Yes, we're not going to talk about which trilogy was better and how Jar Jar Binks is actually the new Sith Lord.
Yeah,
or anything
because
like that.
somebody here already mentioned a word that's taboo in many a Star Wars forum, Metachlorians, but they're entertaining, we like them, we're fans, we have our likes and dislikes, and let's just agree to just respect.
Yes, we do, and I actually had a friend who is a Jedi. Whatchamacallit? He's a Jedi chaplain because they needed one for his unit.
Yep.
So he became a Jedi chaplain. It is great. I don't understand it, but it's great.
I've actually studied that.
So we're going to go back to talking about chi for a minute, or ki, or whichever pronunciation. Which one do you want to go, ki or chi?
Let's go with ki, because they're basically the same thing. It's just different word
Which
translations.
pronunciation? So I'm not doing 20 of them.
Ki.
Okay, we're going to go with ki. So when we're talking about Jedi specifically, and we're talking about the Force specifically, we're talking about beings and people who are sensitive to the Force. Now, with that being said, there are not people who are not so Force sensitive who attempt to use the Force. I am obviously talking about the monk dude who really, really, really wanted to be a Jedi and decides, I'm not like trying to give away anything, but decides he wants to walk blindly because he's blind, just saying the chant, I am one with the Force is within me, over and over and over and over again, blindly, expecting the Force to take care of him. Whether or not the Force did is a whole nother discussion. But anyways, it was very known that he was not necessarily Force sensitive. So only those who are truly gifted at harnessing the Force become Jedi. Or, they take a darker path and they become Sith. Train of thought just got derailed because I started thinking about Anakin and then the
You're talking about gifted or ungifted?
Yes. So when it comes to chi, is it only utilized by people who are sensitive to it? Can people become sensitive to it? Is it within everybody? Can everybody use it, or can only SRNCs?
You're going to get me in trouble here.
Am I always?
The ideal of gifted is bupkis and can be tossed out and thrown in your toilet and flushed.
You said that just because I told you I had a tummy ache, didn't you?
No. Actually, I forgot about that. No, because anyone with enough discipline, practice, and folk to use it. Now, that said, does that mean everyone will learn at the same rate? No. Your personality and general study habits, discipline, and facts like that are going to come into effect. Also, some people are more emotional than other people, and those can even come into effect. So different things and different aspects in those studies will come easier to some than others. But in my research of Ki, I've never met one person who, honestly, they just get the easy train to everything. Everyone has a roadblock somewhere at some point. Now, the biggest roadblock for 90% of human beings is simple discipline. We don't like to do things unless it comes easy. We really don't. And we do love that instant gratification. In these practices, there really isn't instant gratification.
I do enjoy instant gratification, but as a female, that's a very hard concept. You can shoot me in the leg for that one. I promise. Hell yeah, Matthias. He said he just watched the first 6 episodes this week.
Nice.
I'm rewatching Mandalorian since I got my baby Yoda in, and I'm super stoked over it.
I might have been watching it while wearing a helmet the other day.
Weren't you a little on the tipsy side though?
No. It was just the helmet actually cuts down the ambient noise, so it's kind of peaceful.
Huh.
It's nice and private.
Open Ocean wants to know, is this the same ideas that Mantok Chia talked about? So,
I'm trying to figure out.
So which episode is the best out of the 9?
Open Ocean, I'm not sure I'm following the man talk. Familiar, but not ringing a bell.
So the correct answer to that is it depends on how old you were when you first started seeing Star Wars. Or first started watching Star Wars. And the reason why
Of his work, I found it quite fascinating, and I do want to read more. But he does talk on similar principles. Okay, I'm saying the playback died.
The playback? Yeah, I'm seeing that we're buffering pretty hard. Out there in YouTube land, how is the video quality for you guys?
Okay, I think it's back.
Okay.
Weirdly enough.
It seems to be doing its own thing. I think for our 1-year anniversary of doing the Magickal Coffee Hour, we both just need to invest in better routers for our computers.
Yeah, it's weird because it only does this on Magickal Coffee Hour. I don't know what the deal is.
It's probably because of the OBX. William says, sorry guys, you're buffering so bad we can't watch it. Halloween says, I've had background static this whole time, but can see you just fine. Video feed of this live stream seems to be choppy. The audio is consistent. A lot of static sounds.
Okay. Well, we'll just power on through, and if it gets too bad, y'all just enjoy the replay of it.
That works, I guess? Okay.
It's either that or cancel.
Well, we can ask them what they prefer. Do we go ahead and try to figure this out, or power through, guys? Bring that in. Bring it. William, there's a lot of static sound.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't good.
No.
I'm going to continue powering through until somebody tells us otherwise. Give me that one. Okay, so when it comes... Okay.
Okay.
We're powering through. They say don't cancel. Alright, so when it comes to using key, I'm going to focus on the Jedi aspect now.
Okay.
When it comes to Jedi, you have Jedis who follow the light path. You have Jedis who follow the dark path. But there is a very lesser known sect of Jedi that follow the gray path. And if you're a tabletop gamer or some kind of RPG player of any type, you have, you have chaotic neutral, you have chaotic evil, and chaotic good. And that's kind of how I see them. Other people can see it a different way. I'm just going off of my own personal viewpoints on it. Is this true for Keith? Oui.
Well, that's actually a little harder because now most of my research in the two is really from a Japanese perspective, which life force as a whole is viewed as a singular and a neutral, and it's what the person does that determines its coloring. So they would view ki in and of itself as a singular energy that really doesn't have a type, and the person, their actions, and their code of honor would determine that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay, so with that being said, does one... Yes, sir, I see your football. So, when we're talking about auras, yeah, I'm bringing in auras now. Would auras be something that would affect the way the chi is used, or how the chi is, the use of the chi is used?
Yeah, in so much that through training, the more ki that you build up, the stronger your aura gets because you have a much more abundant, ready supply of it to utilize. So therefore, there is a direct correlation in your aura and your ki.
Okay. Are there different paths to take whenever you're using chi? Or
To my understanding, yes, because different martial arts and different traditions use the ki very differently. And when you look at the side of chi, even the philosophies start differing over there somewhat and the way they utilize them. So when you cut it to the nitty gritty, I'd say, yeah, there are different ways to learn it, use it, and apply it.
when it comes to ki, because I haven't really actually studied it, like I said, the only thing I really know about it is the little bit that I learned during my time learning Aikido. We have seen in Star Wars movies that, and in the book, that the Force can be used to heal. The Force can be used to protect. The Force can be used to attack. And the Force can be used to physically alter a person, such as the Force choke. Can ki be used in a similar way of, can it be used in a similar way?
This is something that is heavily debated, but I'm going to say yes because I have seen a lot of the monks who channel ki or chi do some things that just cannot be explained. Run on surfaces that you figure they would sink in immediately, but it's not like they're running on water, but they do sink slower at the very least. And then you got the ones who pull stunts, like they will let someone try to drill into their head, and according to them, they're focusing enough ki that the drill don't penetrate. And so they're hardening their bodies to do it. How these feats of ki are fully accomplished, don't ask me. But there's been plenty of scientists who's tried to put it to the test, and we can't say they're faking, but we also can't figure out what the flip's going on, so we can't prove it either. So it's kind of in that neutral limbo spot. And what its limits are, we don't know. I mean, there's plenty of stories and myth and legends of how it's been utilized. And many of your Jedi feats come from it. So you've got, like long distance punching up, I think the recorded one I read was like 5 feet. Not a major thing, but that's still something. I can't do it, can you? Enhanced mobility and physical attributes, those kinds of things. But it's not something that it's not as well known as other practices, so it's really hard to get into that.
Okay, so Matthias asked what midichlorians are. So basically, I'm going to try to be as uncontroversial for this. Basically, it's the microscopic explanation as to why and how the Force can be utilized by the hosts that they inhabit. Unless you're asking me what are they, like dark or gray, I would say it all depends on what path the Jedi or individual that is utilizing them has chosen to go down. I love that movie.
I've actually not seen that.
What?
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
No. How are we even friends?
I told you, I'm
Drake.
a workaholic. I don't spend much time watching stuff.
You don't even have to watch it, you just have to listen to it, because honestly, it's just one of those movies. It's good. It's a good movie. It's a great movie. Oh my god.
I'll have to check it out. Put it on my checkout list.
Also, don't forget to watch the Howard. Sorry. Oh, let's see here. Shit, you answered a good chunk of my questions already. Super freaking quick. I don't appreciate that.
Well, one thing is, I mean, like on the Metacalorian question, one reason that those had to be added in was the Force and is based upon these energetic concepts, where all things are tied to concept, and George Lucas coming out and saying, you know, it's based on these concepts, really created a problem. Because if everything's connected to this and everything's a part of it, then what makes a Jedi special? So literally it was a plot device basically created to try and answer that.
Okay, so we've already covered that pretty much through focus, meditation, training, and practice, the use of Ki is possible with all living things. In Star Wars, we see where there are children, specifically kids around between the ages of 8 and 10, they start training immediately. Now, this is a topic that I'm going to try my best to tiptoe around. Topic we were talking about before we started streaming.
I was starting to wonder.
I'm not going there yet.
Okay.
That's for a future episode. But with children, can children harness and utilize Ki?
Yes.
Is it possible to teach them or attune to using it, and then eventually as they age and get closer to puberty and adulthood and so on and so forth, start to lose that ability? Or is it something that they can harness and start working with immediately, and as long as it is nurtured and guided, they can continue to use it and use it powerfully as they get older?
The simple answer is yes, they are born with it. In fact, when you look at energy work and magic, this is why the whole, gifted with thing bothers me. All human beings are born with a natural connection to energy. And with what is referred to as the arcane senses wide open. And this is why kids have such fascinating imaginations to us, and why they're affected so easily by their environment also. So it takes time and training to basically desensitize them from this stuff and shut it off. So we tell them when, they tell us they're seeing a fairy or imagination, ignore it, all these things. And we teach them what is make-believe and what's reality. And that slowly desensitizes them. That said, if you were to take that same child and nurture these concepts and never desensitize them, it's true, they'd be wide open, but now you got to run into the problem of a child's emotional state wide open to all that stuff, and if they start to learn to harness it and direct it, imagine a toddler's temper tantrum if they had the energy around them. I mean, it would make a poltergeist look like a picnic.
I mean, that's how I feel about children most of the time.
So, it's not just one or the other. There is a balance there, because young children, even up to the age of 10, really do not have control and discipline over themselves that you want them wide open. But you don't want to desensitize them as a practitioner either. And it's a hard road to walk. But technically they are born with that sensitivity. Are we making fun of me?
Yes, I said that you're slow, pulsally. Have you watched How to Train Your Dragon?
Really? That again? No, I have not seen any of the How to Train Your Dragon movies.
Drake, do we need to have a...
I have been looking for it. It is on nothing. I got like 4 streaming services. It's on none of them. Ever since we started Magical Coffee Hour, ever since I've been trying.
Hold on, I got you, Sam, because it was on Netflix for the longest time.
It's not now, unless it's showed back up in the last week.
Are we just gonna have like a How to Train Your Dragon, Linda and Drake binge night?
We can do that. Fly on over here, bring the movie. I'll cook.
I was thinking more like we could just watch it and FaceTime or something.
Oh, I have no idea how fancy stuff like that works. You'll have to teach me how to do that. I mean, we can do that. I'm cool with that, but you know.
Well, apparently, it's not on any free streaming devices right now.
See, told you.
You can rent it from Amazon Prime. That's good.
It's funny because every time I tell you I can't find it, you look up and find out it's not on anything streaming, and then you say that's stupid.
Last time we had this, we most definitely saw that it was on Netflix, but you were too busy doing some ritual stuff or things. I don't remember what you were doing, but I know you were working, and you told me to get to it after you were done working. We will fight over this one. Thank you, Matthias. I love it so much. It was my present to me for promoting.
Frostbite, your ideal of the view of a path of magic's pretty good. Don't look at it like bottlenecking you like D&D. Look at it like Skyrim, where you take bits and pieces of what you want and create your own style. That's actually a pretty good. It is a really good description. There's a reason Skyrim's so addictive. Yeah, that little baby Yoda thing is adorable. I have to admit it. I'm considering getting one.
I love my yo-yo. I can send you one. I'm about to get which one? Oh no, I'm about to get the Mattel one, the hard-headed one soon. It's supposed to be in the mail soon.
How many Yodas you need?
So we're not going to talk about what Linda did on a very stressful night because I stress eBay.
Oh Lord.
That's how I wound up with 2 MacBook Pros after my father passed away. I have a problem. I admit this. I'm a workaholic and I'm a stress shopper, okay? Those are 2 things that play with each other.
I have a Mog over here on the coffee pot, so I can't say much.
Removal?
Yeah.
Is it on Hulu? It didn't pop up just now. Let me confirm that with my Hulu.
Well, if it's on Hulu, I got it. I can watch that tonight. What? I see a Band-Aid.
Huh? Oh no, it's a thingy. It's a vitamin pack.
Oh.
It was me making a bet for $250, and I think I'm winning.
Yep.
What?
250.
Okay, so the bet was because this person bought me the shake system and everything for free. It's a.
Oh wait, bet, not bid. I thought you was bidding on something for $250. I thought you was bidding on a Baby Yoda for $250. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
No. No, you asked what the Band-Aid thing was. So it's a vitamin patch. Oh, that looks pretty cool. I'm going to.
It's like you need 12 of them.
So I'm going to have at least 4. Oh, I got to show you since I got everybody. And we've already derailed and we're talking about Baby Yoda and my attention span is that of a fucking ant.
I don't even think it's that big.
So my mom, as a late Christmas present, sent me these.
Oh, Lord.
I'm not short. I'm Baby Yoda size. And then the other one. Hey, Baby Yoda on drums.
That's adorable.
Isn't it? Yeah. But anyways, back to the $250 bet. She really wanted me to buy this, like, supplement thingy from her. And I was like, I really don't want to do that. So she goes, well, how about this? I buy you the full setup. And if it doesn't work out for you, you don't have to buy it again and I'll give you $250. If it does work out for you, you buy another month's supply from me, or directly from me. I said, okay, you know what? That sounds like an easy bet. Let me try. The only thing it's really done for me, other than make me feel like I have to poop constantly, That's pretty much it. If I wake up late and forget to put the new patch on, or don't take the vitamin supplement tablets you're supposed to take first, if I don't take them at the right time, I end up getting a really massive headache, almost like a hangover.
Well, that's no fun.
And I don't like that.
Screw that. Just give me one a days.
Yeah. Oh, yes. How to Train Your Dragon
is on who? Yeah, he confirmed it.
Wait,
so
hold up. I'm lying. I'm lying to you. Hold up.
Well, according to
So, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World is on there. How to Train Your Dragon, the movie. It is. You have to watch it with live TV on TBS. I don't know what that means.
Oh,
and
so
then How to Train Your Dragon, Snuggle Tog Log, which was their Halloween, or their not Halloween.
Okay, we're just looking for the first one.
Yeah.
I know there's like 50 of these dragon movies, but I'm just looking for the first one.
My subscription does not include the movie, so if you have the basic HD subscription, you will not have it.
Okay, that's probably what I got. I'm a cheapskate.
Okay.
Scrying is fun. It's my favorite divination, hands down.
I just looked it up on my Apple TV. It says that it's not covered by my subscription.
Well, it's worth going after the show. It's worth going down and watch it.
Hey, it might be an East Coast versus Hawaii thing. You never know.
Because, yeah, I don't know what subscription I have.
Let's see here. So. Merrick says, I'm going to practice crystal ball scrying soon.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way Matthias thinks.
Stop being lazy.
Stop being so busy and just do it.
I'm working on it, Matthias. I am.
In other words, he's not doing it.
I plan to go down there and check and see if it's available tonight again.
Uh-huh. I'm going to call you 3 hours after we get off the phone, just like I did when Baby Yoda showed up.
Oh, Lord, that was hilarious.
Guys, I was so excited about it that I called him back and forced him to FaceTime with me so he could meet Baby Yo-Yo.
But we are actually starting filming on the 102 course, so if I'm going to relax, I need to get some in now, because once the filming gets rolling, you know how I get.
Okay. I have gone through all of my questions in regards to this. I did not expect you to have so many. Yes! Coffee addiction! Woo! I mean, I have a support group for you, friend. Come hang out at the Magickal Coffee Hour every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
I'm not sure we're a support group. We're more like inhibitors. We kind of help you do it. We encourage it.
I've been to AA meetings, okay? I know that people get drunk there sometimes.
Oh, yeah, they do. So,
I mean, typically the actual sober people escort them out, but it happens.
It's kind of funny to think I knocked your questions out of the park that quick.
I didn't expect to knock them out that quick, so now I say free time. Talk to me about this 102 course you're doing.
Oh, well, clearly it's going to be picking up where the Dragon Magic 101 course finishes up. We will be talking about astral evocation in the course, because this course, every course is builds a little bit more on that evocation. We're looking to add an entire section on draconic alchemy. That section's currently in the air, but I'm really wanting to get it. But the bulk of the course will be a path working not only with the the first four draconic rulers, but you're going to be working with very specialized dragons within each element. So by the end of the course, you'll be working with something like 20 dragons.
Drake, I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but I can't hear you anymore.
Can you all hear me?
I can hear you now.
Mathis, I'm actually getting back into my workout routine, and if you're looking for a strong coffee to use as a pre-workout,
Hold up, I got this.
Raiders.
Nope, nope. It's not the Raiders, but yeah.
Yeah, Death Wish will actually work. But I will also say this: Iron Bean Coffee Company, they have one called Fierce. Though it's not as high in caffeine, that dark roast really works as a good pre-workout. It doesn't give you the caffeine kick, so it's lower on caffeine, but it's got a. It just helps. It's a bit more filling and gets you through that workout, and so it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for the energy, go with Death Wish. If you're just looking for a nice, solid pre-workout drink, go with the Fierce.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on that one. So they just came out with a new, a new roast that they collaborated with Murder Bean Coffee Company. That they have it called Stay Awake. That one has higher caffeine content in it, and it's also a dark roast, and it tastes fantastic.
I haven't tried it, so I can't comment.
I'm about to grab me a glass of it right now because I have a cold brew.
So.
William has a question, so I have a first question. So Luke was able to handle something as a ghost, so why didn't other Jedi help take out the Empire?
Bad writing.
I thought you said we weren't going to do any of those flaming answers.
That's kind of it. In the original,
Hold on.
In the original trilogy, Lucas didn't dive too far into the capabilities of Force Ghosts and Force Spirits.
Do it in the grass. I don't want to clean it up.
But in the newer trilogies, what we are seeing is we're seeing more extents of what the Force can accomplish and manifest. But we're also seeing what's covered in the canon is that honestly, Force Ghosts from Jedi wasn't as common until Qui-Gon. He was apparently one of the first and few that was able to manifest at all. So that was actually new knowledge by the end of the third movie is when it's first mentioned? And it's also touched on a bit through the Clone Wars series. So
are we going with third movie, or are we going to go like third in chronological order?
Third episode, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, how to clarify.
We're using numbers in numeric order, not Star Wars order.
Yes, Dad.
But that's generally how it's set up. Now, yeah, there's a lot of whole movies, and it's my understanding they're working to correct some of that, but. I wouldn't lie. I was wondering the same thing because at the end we had all these really cool voices and stuff, and no one was getting out of bed to help. And you'd figure, somebody'd be like, "Hey, this is like world-ending bad. We should help." But
Matthias goes, do you believe the light and dark side represent Kabbalah? And I'm not even going to
Cliff off.
Sure.
That's actually an interesting concept, Matthias. And I've never heard anything from source mention the two. Now, that said, I do know a few Jedi practicing religions, and I even know a few Sith. There's actually a Sith order in Washington State. And at least within the Sith order, one of the people I spoke to when they were discussing their philosophies, their ideals, they did relate it to a similar working, though they did make a point to separate entities, and it's specifically focused on energy as the primary, not any one entity or group of entities. So they do seem to separate it somewhat. And if they do reference it, they use it more as a comparison only in the way the two function, not as a literal side by side. Don't worry, Frostfire, because from what I've been reading, we're going to be. They're fine now that a new driver's at the wheel. They're going to be pulling back a lot of our old Legends stuff. So here's hoping, right? No fight started. No fight started. Like I said, everybody, we just handle it respectfully. It'll all be good. But no, that is a good question. I mean, and that's also kind of where the gray Jedi concept comes from, because it is possible to walk a similar path without only going on the extremes. And when you really get into the lore, you do realize that what's presented to us as Jedi and Sith are actually full-on extremes. And you even see this in Yoda, because the way Yoda teaches in the first episodes 1, 2, and 3 is drastically different than what he actually teaches Luke.
Hi, Alex.
So,
aloha and welcome.
And then by the time we see Yoda in episode 8, which is probably, in my opinion, maybe the only good scene in the movie, Yoda's opinion of the Force has changed. He's grown. He understands that more universal, neutral ideal, which we actually see both Qui-Gon. He followed the will of the Force, not the Jedi. That's why they didn't like him as much. And he knew aggression could be a powerful thing. And if you actually, Linda's right. If you follow Darth Maul's story.
I was saying who my favorite Sith is. But
Oh,
yes, that too.
Darth Maul's story, he actually starts as a Sith, but when he's rejected by the Sith, his story arc goes a much more aggressive-based gray path, and you can actually draw a correlation with him and Ahsoka. She takes a more peaceful Guardian gray path. So, for anybody who's seen the last season of Clone Wars, major emotional jerkers there. But frickin' awesome season. People do like the Sith more, and that's because they're actually encouraged to tap into the real world. The thing that really bores people about Jedi, or classical Jedi, is how denial-based the entire belief system is.
Am I Irishing up my coffee before this starts, or am I just drinking my usual deliciousness? Because this right here is right.
I'm out of coffee, damn it.
This is actually the murder, or the stay awake blend. I think.
I can answer that. For spirits to interact with the physical, it takes focus and energy. They have to collect a large amount of energy to a single spot in order to affect an object. And this is really real-world spirits. So they actually have to have a source of energy and the ability to harness and control it. Not all spirits actually have the control and focus to do that, and most often they rely on emotional energy to do that. That's the reason we see more effects from negative entities than positive, because the positive entities aren't drawing on this massive emotional well.
I'm just speaking true.
We can do that. We can do that. They want a game where every time a certain word is said, you have to take a drink of coffee.
I don't know if they can handle it.
They're the ones asking for it. That's their problem.
Well, that's why I said in chat, y'all can't handle me in my final caffeinated form. I only kill off 2 French presses at work, just so I can tolerate people. And then sometimes there's days when I tell the captain that I'm briefing to,
You only go through 2 French
I just
presses?
straight up don't know. And then I get told that is not the way you answer captain.
A light day of coffee for me is
Not these.
4.5 pots. That's not even a normal day.
I'm saying just at work. Blink, blink, blink.
And I think Qui-Gon's really the only one who gave it much airtime at all. And I think that's important because I think you have the large overarching energy field that's in touch with the entire universe. But then you have that conscious living side of it that deals with everyday things and concepts. And that's always ever changing. And it's not something that can be put into a strict rule set. My coffee pot is 13 cups. So that's my coffee pot.
How many cups?
13.
That's a lot of cups. Oh, I'll have to send you a picture later of this really cool coffee cup my mom got.
Well, it measures cups as 11 ounces. Is what it's measuring its cups as. So there's 13 11-ounce cups. So in my normal mugs, which are usually 24 or something, clearly we don't get as much coffee out of it. But like this 12-ounce cup, you know, hey, I'll get 13 cups out of it.
How many cups of coffee would you go through? If he's doing 4.5, if he's doing 4.5 pots times roughly 13 cups per pot, that would be 52 plus 6.5. That would be 58.5 cups of coffee. If I'm doing my math correctly, somebody who's actually smarter than me, please give the answer.
Well, you're not. I'm not the person to do.
I said somebody. I didn't say Drake.
Well, let's simplify it. Let's just do it at 13 instead of the half. And that'd be 13 times 4?
13 times 4, that would be 52.
That's 52. So on a light day...
Drake going Crocodile Dundee. That's not a cup. Ooh, that's
I actually have a massive coffee cup downstairs.
On my Twitter, I don't know if it's still on there, I gotta double check, but on my Twitter, my banner header...
That's a crack addiction.
Says something along the lines of coffee because cocaine's illegal. I apparently changed it.
When I say coffee is about all I drink, I mean it. I wake up, I start drinking coffee.
I'm glad I don't have your kidneys.
Ironically, the doctor's looking good.
Oh, here it is. You guys can see this.
That is adorable.
You can see it.
Not that I'm suggesting drinking that much coffee, mind you.
Coffee, because crack is bad for you.
There you go.
And it's juicy. And I like juicy.
Evening roast. I think I missed saying evening to someone else when they came in earlier. Sorry about that if I did.
Roast.
Think if I didn't say hi to you, Alex, hi, and the one I remember hearing but didn't say hi to because I was in the middle of something and then crap broke it down. So yeah.
Jenny.
And right under it says Drake is right though. I'm always right. Not really. Yeah, and you should see how high the caffeine goes when we're talking Death Wish because it has a lot more caffeine in it.
Yay, don't change your number. I can make you mine.
That said, I am to drink more water. I was just letting you get it out while we went on.
I had to get it out. It's like my PP.
And then there's at least 4 French presses scattered throughout the house.
I can't wait till we get to California so I can have my dream game room set up / stream room.
I've never claimed to be sane, Matthias. Never.
Well, yeah. If that man ever claims to be sane, we're taking him straight. And we're buffering again. Really bad.
Yay. Not really. So, anyone got any other questions?
Did you say not really?
I said yay, not really. As in,
Oh.
not yay, we're buffering.
I think it's, well, I'm like 99.9% sure it's your internet because like you're cutting in and out on my Discord, and every time you start to like go in and out, it starts buffering my YouTube.
Well, every time I check it, it says excellent connection on my side. So it's one of those things, you know, you just don't know what it's doing.
Sounds like you got some potato internet.
I think they just love doing their maintenance on the weekends.
Well then, let's move this to a Friday night. I don't know. Oh wait, no, you do Friday night. Let's not do it on Friday night. That's the only night I can do it. Okay.
We'll discuss it because if I've been considering doing another stream in the week or something, so we'll discuss.
Oh shit! Really?
So people, if you can hear, discuss doing an early stream so people across the pond can get to it easier. I'm thinking Wednesdays. Vote and see if you'd be down for that. And if we move the coffee hour to Fridays, so we might have better internet, I might see if my internet will function for a weekend stream as well. So you might end up with 3 streams instead of 2. But jump in the Discord, let me know what y'all think. And if somebody knows how to create a poll, do that in the Discord too.
And I'll give you a poll.
Oh Lord.
You love me, I know you do.
Does your lightsaber hang low? Does it wobble to and fro?
My lightsaber hangs to the left, actually. Thank you. I swear, guys, I'm really in that job. I don't know why he keeps me around, but he does.
All right, Ross. What's your questions on the Necronomicon for a minute?
Ask mine.
Yeah, she ran out of questions. I didn't realize I was going to be able to get through her stuff that quick. That don't happen often. I figured it being Star Wars with all the information, she's just going to have me just beat silly.
You know, I'm honestly quite disappointed in myself for the fact that Paul would probably, like, love to have questions for you on this one, but...
When he gets back, we'll do a part 2 and bring him on stream.
I've been trying to get him to hang out on my streams more times than I can count at this point. And the man, his idea of coming onto my stream is just breaking.
Sounds about right.
That is his idea of hanging out with me on stream. And
So,
my viewers love him, so it's long.
well, if nothing else, he can give us a list of questions when he gets back.
Sure fact.
I not come through. Well, no, Linda heard me, so I had to come through.
Rouse, you got some questions? Besides my magic pole? That's my magic wand, by the way, boys. And ladies.
You want to know what's funny? I have yet to have a Magickal Coffee Hour even get limited ads on it. Whereas Research and Ramblings for a Mage, which usually doesn't even get as weird, constantly ends up with it.
Wait, say that again?
My stream, which doesn't get as weird or controversial as this, on Fridays, constantly gets hit with limited ads. Has yet to.
That's weird. What do you mean by limited ads?
It deals with the content in it and how far to the adult side it might get that might wave away some of the advertisers.
Huh.
Okay, let's see. The question is, have evoked any of the entities from the grimoire? How legit is that? Okay, that's actually a really good question, Roust. And actually, I have worked with, I'm going to say most of them, because I want to say all, but it's just like, did I actually get through all of them? and I can't remember for sure, so I'm going to say most. And I didn't get to research them as deeply as I wanted to, but what I do know is I was able to get responses and results. So at the bare minimum, you are working with very, very tangible and powerful egregores. So not to be taken lightly. That's from what I did work with them and get to know, they really do feel like more than egregores. And I am planning to do them and dive into it using things I've learned since to try and confirm that. And I'm actually thinking about sharing that on the YouTube when I do it, because there's so many people who are just loving the Necronomicon research. But yeah, if certain they are powerful egregores. So great question.
Merrick wants to know, so out of the Dragon Lords, not including the 4 basic elements, which would you say is the most challenging to work with?
Well, that's a good one. You see, it generally comes to a toss-up of Maelstrom and Chaos, but I will actually say I believe the Maelstrom Dragons are hands down the hardest for most people to work with. And that change in a way that they don't care what you think. Your feelings, your opinions, they don't care. Change, progress, and growth is the only thing they care about. So when you're working with them, you are trying to achieve a change and a growth and move further down your path. Most organized way, and they think they're going to be able to do it in a way that they choose, so they get to hang on to all the little things that they want, which those things are usually some kind of baggage that's holding them back. And the Maelstrom will either force you to carry the weight, or it's going to remove that thing from you. So they come in, and if you don't understand these dragons, how they work, and you're not prepared, they are just going to come in, turn your life upside down, inside out, throw you in a blender and hit frappe. And you're not going to know what's going on.
But I don't want to be a frappe.
And so, yeah, they're the hardest ones to work with, and that's the reason I do not recommend beginners work with those higher elements. And chaos is all about creation and destruction. So when something becomes stagnant and is no longer able to change or progress or grow, that's when the chaos element's supposed to come in and just destroy it. Kind of like burning something down so new life can grow there. So, yeah, technically speaking, one could say chaos is harsher because there is no raising your hand. There is no, well, could we possibly adjust this? It's get rid of it. But honestly, people seem to be able to handle the loss of something, just complete loss, that they had no control over, far easier than change. Because we struggle to cling to that crap. But those are the hardest too, because of the way they work. But most people I do find it's the Maelstrom that is the hardest, because they want to hang on to everything. It's like trying to lose weight while wanting to hang on to cake. You're not going to go. It won't work. Would you all be okay with moving Ramblings to Wednesday and the coffee hour to Sunday? And what time would you like Ramblings on Wednesday? And I don't think we can move the time.
The coffee hour on Sunday, sweetheart.
Or, yeah, what's the other day? Friday. Moving the coffee hour to Friday. Thank you.
That tonight's going to be a good night.
Do what?
He said I had a feeling. I'm assuming he meant about the Maelstrom or the Chaos.
Those are the hardest too. I know a lot of people are thinking that a lot of the belief systems put spirit as a very groovy thing to work with. And the spirit ruler is a little laid back, but you better be ready to do some work when you get there. has a whole lot more chill compared to the other two higher rulers, but there is no hesitation. There is no, I'm not ready for it. It's, okay, you want to do this? Here's how you do it. And if you don't do it, the spirit ruler will just let you go. And be like, oh, don't bother me until you're ready to do the work.
Okay.
Because the spirit ruler is pretty much, I always made the joke with Primordia that she just stands around with a massive 2 billy club sized ball bats. That's like, both of them are called accountability and self responsibility. And her job is to just hit you with them. She didn't find it as funny as I did, but honestly, that's...
I agree with Matthias. Change is hard.
Yeah, change is very hard. It's one of the hardest parts of magic. That's why I tell people, magic's never an easy road. It can improve your life greatly, but it is far from easy. She's hyper tonight, people. What kind of coffee are you drinking?
I told you, I'm drinking the Stay Awake, and it was cut with Sunny Day, and it is quite delicious.
I might have to try some of that, people.
And I only put a little bit of whipped cream on it because I haven't had any.
I actually have a cold brew double Death Wish brewing downstairs right now.
Oh, you do bulletproof?
I do bulletproof sometimes. This is cold brew.
Oh, I thought.
You just grew more like a hobbit than an elf.
Hey, hey, hey. I thought you.
All right. Any other questions?
Do you have an iPhone?
Before we wrap up, we're actually past the hour, and Linda hasn't jumped me on it yet.
Because I was updating my phone, and I got really serious about it. Hey, now I have ginger toast on my phone. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to throw my phone away. Just kidding. Well, I thought we were having a good time talking to everybody and hanging out, but since you're wanting to wrap up...
No, I'll keep going. You're usually the one that wraps up.
Because I believe in keeping it wrapped. Tell us about what you're working on this week and what you got planned coming up, what's going on with your classes. I think that's it. What's going on in your life?
Okay. Well, currently speaking... right for the Norse Magic series coming out. This week to the merch shop we added some altar cloth for people who want to work outdoors. One of the biggest problem with an altar cloth is they're very lightweight, so you don't even need a breeze to clean. So switch the light dainty stuff with a beach towel. Booyah! Heavy, and it's easy to clean. We did put the Dragon's Eye seal on there, so it's more for the Dragon Magic practitioner. But let me know if you're interested in something more specific, and I'll try and get those available to you all as well. The Hammerite, like I said, it's part of the Norse Magic series coming out Tuesday. We've started filming the Dragon Magic 102 course. And I am hoping to have it live on the school by the end of July to mid-August. That's my goal. I'm not promising it. That's just my goal. Okay, what else is going on? Oh, yes. For those who have been constantly bugging me with ways to donate without doing Patreon or something, I have found out that my PayPal, my pay thing, if I link it below the videos, that you can literally just kind of click it, go and drop $5 and we're in there. I didn't know that was something I could do, but someone has informed me that is something I can do. So if that is something you all seriously want me to do, let me know and I'll make that link more available to everybody. We are currently planning a few of the kitchen magic videos also, because instead of just strict for here on out, I'm actually going to be weaving in a lot of other things. We're going to see more of the modern magic, the kitchen magics. We're even going to do a Fae video coming up soon, talking about the rules of working with the Fae. So yeah, we got a lot coming. Oh, that's right. And we have actually managed to get an outdoor camera. We got a GoPro, so we can actually start filming the outdoor stuff now.
Woohoo!
So hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more variation in where we shoot and do some of the rituals.
Yeah.
And that's all thanks to the viewers who and everything you all have done to support the channel is paying off.
Literally. Excellent stuff.
Yeah, it's helping.
One poll is set up already, and Halloween is currently working on the other right now. And Merrick says, I just snorted and it hurts. I'm assuming that sneezed and farted at the same time, and
I've always heard it as you laugh and snort something out your nose. That's how I've always heard it used. I don't know though.
Snorted?
Yeah.
I was thinking he meant sneeze and fart at the same time.
He could have. I mean, it would work that way.
I just hope he didn't poop himself on either occasion.
This is true.
I personally just don't like having to do a lot of laundry. Alright, boys and girls and boys and everybody in between, thank you so much for sitting in the Magickal Coffee Hour. I am the LINDUH, and that handsome devil over there is the one, the only, Drake, the working dragon mystic. If you guys want to have more time, more fun, and all that jazz, come and show up on Friday. Come hang out. Go check out his website. Go and see the wonderful episodes that we have already produced of Ramblings and Working Dragon Mystics Magickal Coffee Hour. Go check out his classes. Go and see if there's something that's there for you. Hope you guys are having fun. Hope you guys have a good week. Stay safe.